Hello and welcome to Sew with Christine. Kindly subscribe, like and share this video. I will be posting more tutorials, so turn your notification bell on to get notified. I'm going to start by marking down the chest line, the bust point line, the under bust line, and the waistline. I'll take down the same markings at the side of the paper. Then I will roll the lines. The first line is the chest line. Next is the bust point line, followed by the under bust and the waistline. From the center front, I will mark the bust span measurements. Then I will draw a straight line over the points. At the top of this paper, I will mark down the shoulder measurements. I will take down the same measurements on the chest line. Then I will draw a straight line over them. On the chest line, I will mark the quarter bust measurements. Then use the curve ruler to draw the armhole curve. I didn't take the shoulder slope measurement because I won't be needing the top part of this draft. On the waistline, I will mark the quarter bust measurements there, then draw a straight line over the marked areas. Next, I will take down the underbust dart. For me to do this, I will minus the quarter bust measurement from the underbust measurement. That is 8.75 inches, which is quarter of the bust measurement, minus 7.25 inches for the underbust. That gives 1.5 inches. So I will use up 1.5 inches for the underbust dart. I will divide 1.5 inch by 2, that is 0.75 inch. I will mark 0.75 on this side and 0.75 on the other side. From the bust point line, I will come downward by 0.5 inch. Then I'll use a curve ruler to draw a curve connecting the 0.5 inch to the 0.75 markings. I will extend the chest line upward by 1 inch. You can modify yours when drafting this. After marking, I will draw a straight line over the points. Then extend the bust span line to meet with the new chest line. On this line, I will mark 0.5 inch on both sides. From the bust point line, I will go upward by 0.5 inch. Then I will draw curved lines to join the 0.5 inch to the ones above the line. On the waistline, I will take down the same measurement I used for the underbust. Next is to measure the bust dart. From the bust point, I will come downward by 2 inches. Then I will connect that 2 inches to the bust span line. At the armhole curve, I will mark 0.5 inch downward Then I will use the curve ruler to curve the chest line. This is the front pattern that I'm working on. I'll proceed to drafting the back pattern, but first I need to minus the bust dart measurement, which is 2 inches from the back pattern. It happened that the distance between these two lines is 2 inches. So I will cancel the lower line and use the upper line as a new waist line for the back pattern. Only two horizontal lines are needed for the back pattern, which are the chest and the waistline. From the center back, I will measure out the bust span and draw a straight line over the markings. I will mark the quarter bust measurement on the waistline and on the chest line. Then I'll draw a line over them. On the waistline, I will mark 0.75 inch on both sides of this line. Then I will come down by 1 inch from the chest line. After that, I will draw the dart legs. On this part, I will come down by 0.5 inch. At the center back, I will come down by 1 inch. Then I will go ahead and draw a curved line over them. I will close up the waist dart and redraw the line. Then I'll proceed to cut in the pattern. I will tape down the darts area and use the curve ruler to reshape the chest line. What will be cut out has been added at the base already when I redrew the waistline. I will use this part of the ruler to blend out these edges. So if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly hit the subscribe button, like and share this video. And do not forget to turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post new tutorials. I will close up the bust darts. After closing up these darts, I'm going to redraw the line. Here is the front and the back side by side so that you will see that they are equal in length. Next, I will cut this out on my fabric. The allowance at the side is 1.5 inches, while the other areas are 0.5 inches. Next, it is drafting of the short pants. First of all, I will mark the hip line. Then I will mark the crotch depth line. For the crotch depth, divide your hip circumference by 4 to get your crotch depth. On the crotch depth line, I will mark the quarter hip measurement and I will also mark the upper hip line. After taking down these measurements, I will draw a straight line there. On the crotch depth line, I will take down half of the thigh measurement. From here, I will go up by 1 inch and draw a curved line upward, touching the tip of this 1 inch. This is the side front and this is the center front. From the center front, I will mark quarter of the upper hip measurement and add 1 inch for that. I will go ahead and divide the upper hip by 2 and mark down the dart. I will use up 1 inch for the dart. Then from this dart line, I will go down by 5 inches. I will measure from the center front to the dot mark, and whatever I have there, I will go downward and mark it there. Then I'll mark 0.5 inch on both sides of the line. Then draw the dart legs. Next, I will draw a curved line from the upper hip to the hip line. I will take the length of this pant and add 1.5 inches hem allowance to it. On the hemline, I will mark down 0.5 inch here and 0.5 inch here as well. Then I will connect the points to meet the hip line and the crotch depth line. Please, if you have watched to this point and you're yet to subscribe, kindly subscribe, like and share this video. At the center front, I will come down by 1 inch and use a curved line to connect these points to the side of the shirt. Then I'll cut out the excess area. Next is the drafting of the back piece. I will use the front pattern as a guide. From the upper hip of the back, I will come down by 1.5 inches, then draw a straight line over the marked areas. See the way I place the front fabric over the back. At the side, I will mark down 2 inches from the bottom to the top. This will serve as the same allowance for the entire shirt pant. I will come down to the crotch depth line and extend this line on the back fabric by 2 inches. Afterwards, I will join these points to the hemline using a straight line. I will draw a straight line upward on the center back. From the side of the back pattern, I will draw a diagonal line to meet with the center back. On this diagonal line, I will mark down the upper hip measurement plus the darts and 2 inches allowance here, then whatever is left to be considered excess and cut off. Then from the marked area, I will redraw the center back line. So this is the line I'll be working with. I will measure this part of the front and mark that measurement on the back. If there is any excess, I will mark out the excess. As you can see, there is excess on the fabric, so I will mark it. After marking, I will redraw the line, then I will cut this out. Here is the front and the back pattern. For the waistband, I use 4 inches for the width plus 1 inch for the seam allowance. If I fold the band, it would be half of the measurement. I'll mark down the quarter of the upper hip and waist measurements on the front band. This is the waist area, and the down part is the upper hip area. So this is for the front pant, folded into two. Then I'll proceed to cutting out the band for the back shorts. I'm going to measure the waistband and minus the darts from the waistband. After this, I'm going to cut out the belt loops. I used 1 inch for the width and 3.5 inch for the length. Next is a side pocket. I will go in by 2 inches from the side and add half inch for the seam allowance. On the hip line, I will mark half inch for seam allowance and use a straight line to join seam allowance to seam allowance and join the 2 inches to the side of the shirt. This is the pocket that I will be using, and here are the measurements for the width and for the length. I'll place the shirt over the pocket and cut along the first line to the side. Then I'll fold it in half. After folding, I'll cut the upper area off. So here is the pocket and the shirt. Next is the drafting of the jacket. The length is 33 inches, then I added 2 inches hem allowance to it. The width of this dress is 13 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm going to mark down this measurement from top to bottom and use a straight line to connect all of them. I went ahead to mark down the neck width measurement, which is 3 inches. After that, I used 1 inch for the shoulder slope. From the neckline, I will draw a slanted line downward. Then I'll mark 12 inches for the armhole depth and add 1 inch for the seam allowance. Half inch should be for the lower part seam and the other half inch should be for the shoulder slope seam. After marking, I will cut this out. At the armhole region, I will go in by half inch, leaving the other half inch seam allowance to join the sleeve to this dress. Here is the fabric for the back pattern. I'm going to measure out the neck, and for the width neckline I'll be using 3 inches and the depth I'm going to use 1 inch. Then I'll come to the edge of this dress and I'm going to mark down the width of this dress. Then I'll come down by 1 inch. This is for the shoulder slope, and I'm just going to connect this line to the neckline. Next, I'm going to take the length of the armhole. Then I'm going to mark down the length. I will also go in by half inch at the armhole area, then cut out the excess parts once I'm done. I thought of shaping the hem of this dress. So this is the front. I'm going to come up here by 3 inches. Then I'm going to curve this downward. When I'm done with the front, I will do the same for the back. I will measure the length of the center front from the neckline to the base and multiply what I have by 2 because this fabric is 2. Then I'm going to measure the back neckline and add this up to the results that I got when I measured the front. Next is to cut the stripe for this jacket. The width for this stripe is 4 inches and the length is the measurement for the front and back neckline that we just took. The width of the sleeve is 12 inches and I'm going to add 1 inch for the seam allowance. I'm using the measurement that I used for the armhole. Then the length of the sleeve is 12 inches. I added the 13 inches for the width of this dress to this 12 inches and together I have 25 inches. Then I'm going to use 3 inches for the seam allowance. Here is the front parts and the sleeve together. Thank you so much for watching and do not forget to subscribe, like and share this video.